Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Creations by Karen. Today we're going to make a daisy wreath. So hop on, say hi, and let's get crafty. So the first thing you're going to do is load your Unique in the Creek round flower board. Okay, so this is what the Unique in the Creek flower board. This is a small one I'm using today, and I'm going to preload this closed with zip ties. So when you're putting a zip tie on, and I mean when you're thinking about putting things on open and closed, you just feed your zip tie in like this and come in through the back like this, okay? And if you're just leaving it like this, it's called open, right? The tie wrap is open. If you close it, you're just putting it in and it's got just a circle, right? So you could just feed your petal in through the circle. That's called being closed, all right? So you have open and closed. I've gone ahead and I've preloaded a small Unique in the Creek flower board, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So this is what it looks like, preloaded with all my zip ties closed. So this is the front and this is the back, right? Back and front, right? All preloaded, ready to go. You have 16 on the outside row, 8 on the second row, 8 on the third row, and 4 on the center row. Okay, good? Right, give me a thumbs up if you're good so far. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show you the flower petal that I'm going to be doing. It's called a Dean Michaels petal, and it was created by someone named Dean Michaels. So I just have, I am using 10-inch poly burlap mesh. You can use fabric mesh. I wouldn't use regular deco mesh for this. So you just come and you take your piece of mesh, and it is hard to see because it's on a white background, but you put it down with curl side up. Take the top to the bottom, like that. So it's kind of in a V shape. See it? V, right? So I leave my hand on the top, come down to the bottom, and I pull it just a little bit. I scrunch it in once, then twice, then 3 times, and then I do the same on the other side. 3 times, and then there's these little tails. I just tuck them in. And then what I like to do is take a rubber band and put it around the bottom of it. And the reason for that is because I can sit and just make these, watching TV or whatever. You're watching YouTube, I guess. And it's like a time saver, okay? So that's what a Dean Michael petal looks like. Let me show you one more time. And I did use a wood burner to cut my mesh. I just like it because poly burlap mesh will really fray unless you use a wood burner to cut it, or a heat sealer you can use. I only have a wood burner. So once again, top to the bottom. And just pull this a little bit, make a scrunch in the middle, and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3. Just tuck these ones in like that. And see, this one, it's starting to fray. So you will get some fray even if you do use a wood burner sometimes. I'll show you how to fix that. So the thing you want to remember when you're making a Dean Michael petal is that you want to make sure that they're perfectly together. See, you don't want to have them coming apart, all right? So that's perfectly together. That's important. And if you have trouble with that, stay tuned to the end because I'm going to show you a way to fix it, all right? So there's 2 petals in. So then you just take your flower board, place your petal down, doesn't matter where you start, and then just place it in and snug it up. And then place your second one in, and you want to make sure your finished edges are all running in the same direction. Place it in and snug it up. Okay? And you're going to do that all the way around the outside row. Okay? 16 petals. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll be right back. So here I am, got all my petals in. I've cut some of the tie wraps off, but I'm going to cut the rest of them off just with my handy tie wrap cutter. You can get this on Amazon. And I think it was probably around $15 or $20. Don't really remember. Had it for a bit. But this just snugs up your tie wrap and also cuts it at the same time. And it's basically just a time saver. Okay? So just go around and cut these all off. Just like that. Easy. Okay? So this is what my first row of petals look like in. Okay? And this is what the back looks like. Okay? So nothing is going to scratch the door. And that's really important when you're making a wreath, that you want to make sure that there's nothing going to scratch the door. So I'm going to take my next row. I'm just going to place my petal in. And you want to be about, I don't know, halfway between the second and the third row. And just snug it up. Just like you did with the first one. This is really easy. The hardest part about making this wreath is cutting the mesh and learning how to make the fold. So it does take practice. So you just need to be patient. Patience is key when you're learning. And like I said, I always go around and put my row in of petals, and then I go around and cut them all off. All right? Just place them down and cut them off. And when you make your tie wraps closed, just is really easy just to stick them in. Just like this. Easy, 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 easy. Once again, you have 16 on the outside row and 8 on the second row. Let's bring them in. This is a really easy rose or petal to make, and once you get the hang of it, that's all it is. And it whips up really quick. And this would be, you can make this in any color. It doesn't have to be white. I mean, I'm making a daisy, so that's why I'm using white. But you can make it in any color to match your front door. All right. Put them in, snug them up. Put them in and snug them up. And that, my friends, is my second row completed. Just like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut all these tie wraps off. Easy. Here we go. Last one. All right, super. And here we go. Okay, we're on to the third row. There's going to be 8 petals on the third row. Got them already made. So, just place them down. And snug them up. Simple, simple, simple. Want them to be all approximately the same size. That's just me. I have to. Put them down. And snug them up. I like things to look, you know, as even as possible. When this is why I think using poly burlap or fabric mesh is better, simply because you won't be able to see the board. Using poly burlap or fabric mesh. Regular deco mesh, I think, might be a little bit see-through, and that's why I choose not to use it. It's just me. You can make it, you can use probably just regular deco mesh if you want to. See how this is starting to fray? I kind of clip these off as I go along. Once again, I'm going to show you at the end how you keep these together if you're struggling a little bit. Okay. Set them down. This one in. And close it. Nice and tight. And place it down. And close it tight. Looks like I didn't cut enough mesh. So, I'm going to take my piece of poly burlap, place it down, snug it just a bit, keep my hand on that top, and just scrunch it together. Like that. I don't have a rubber band handy, so I'm just going to place it in. Just like that. You don't have to use a rubber band if you're making it all at once. I just like to make them ahead of time. And then just snug it up. Okay. And snug it up. Okay. Just take my cutter and cut these off extra. There we go. Okay, so there's my third row done. Okay, that's what it looks like with the third row in. Hi, I'm back. I've gone ahead, cut more mesh, folded the petal, and I'm going to place him into the fourth row of my Unique in the Creek flower board. So here we go again. Take my petal, place it into the tie wrap, snug it up tight. Okay, so there's 4 on here, and I like to put like a few extra. So if you didn't put the few extra in, you could do this flower with a single roll of mesh. But I am putting a few extra pieces in, so I am adding a few. I do have to use like a 1 and a little bit. All right, so just place this down and snug it up. And what I'm going to do is use shared holes on the 4th row. So this goes in, and it just covers more, and that's what I like. All right, I like things to look pretty and have the board covered. That's just me. You don't have to do that. Okay. You want to make sure that everything's about the same size. Okay, so that one's in. I'm going to cut these off, and then I'll show you how to place the ones in the shared hole. So just cut these off. And this is the last one. All right, so there's my daisy. Like I said, if you didn't put extra ones in, I would see this. So I'm going to use the shared holes. So just take my tie wrap, come in to this hole, and then feed it. Look at the back. Feed it in here. Comes up. Close it. And then just place a petal in there. Like that. And that covers up all the stuff that you don't want to see. Now it is quite full in the center. And I'm just going to scrunch them down once I get them all in. Okay? And I just tuck this down and cut this off. I'm going to show you how to fix these when they come apart. Just take this one. You need to put the tie wrap in. Come in here. So when you're putting your tie wrap in, it's important to feed the one in through the flat end of the tie wrap. If you don't, you'll know it soon enough because it won't stay done up if you put the end of the tie wrap in the protruding end, right? So you want to always put it in the flat end. Does that make sense? Okay. Snug it up. And I just tuck this down and cut this off. 2 more. Feed it back. Close this up. Well, see, I put it in the wrong way. I gotta do it again. Just coming in through the back. Close it. And place your petal in. Just like that. Snug it up. And cut it off. One more. Come in. And come to the back. Push it through. Close it. And put your last petal in. Just like that. Snug it up. And zip it off. So, there's all my petals in. Okay, this is what it looks like. Daisy petal. There you go. And then this is the back. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put a hanger on it. So I find the top where I have my little, oh, I have a hanger on it. I guess I did put a hanger on it. Sorry, guys. Pretty easy to do. You can use whatever you want. I like Chanel stems, but you could use a tie wrap to just hold it in place. All right, so what I'm going to do now is going to show you the center. So daisy centers are yellow. And all I did was took a styrofoam ball and I cut it in half. See, half. I put yellow paint on it and then I just got some yellow glitter. I put yellow paint on it, waited for it to dry, Mod Podged it, put some yellow glitter on it, waited for that to dry, and then put more Mod Podge on it just to seal it, all right? Because if it's going on an outside door, you want to make sure that, you know, the elements don't ruin it. So I have to figure out how to attach this to my wreath. So of course I figured that out. So I just got a Chanel stem. Okay, so there's my center. I just find the middle of it and I just make a little V. Now I had some floral wire. Floral wire. You don't think you could see it. Can you see it there? And I just cut off 3 pieces of the floral wire. Where are my cutters? There. So just 3 pieces of floral wire. And you cut them about 1 inch long. Just like that. All right. And then I just turn it into a U like that. Can you see that? It's a U. Do it with all 3. 1 more. And then I just place this down into the center of the of the styrofoam ball, and I just push these down. See? Now this in itself is not going to hold this chenille stem, but I found another way, as I always do, and then put this one in. All right, so then I just had this circle, and I've got some hot glue, and I like to use Gorilla Glue, and I just put some Gorilla Glue on the top of this. And be generous with this because you don't want it to go anywhere. Right? Like that. And then I take this. This is just a scrap piece of foam I had. And then I just hold it in place like this. Okay? And it secures it. And what I like to do is just cut a little piece off of here, because I want that chenille stem to be able to travel a little bit. And for me, making things look finished is really important, even though you can't see it. So I often think, you know, what if somebody wanted to change out the center, which people will do. And I thought, you know, I just want to make sure that this looks good. So what I just do now is just run a bead of the glue around the outside. And just tack this down. So if you wanted, say, in the winter time, you wanted to put a different, like maybe Christmas ornaments in the center of it, you could take this off and then just put the Christmas ornament one in. So it's all about choices. And close this up. And that's what it looks like, right? Ready to be placed onto my flower. All right? So that's done. So here's my daisy. And I just want to affix this into the center of it. So I just find two holes that are across from each other. Let's see here. There's one here. And this one here. They're across from each other. So that way I know they're going to be centered. And there's not a whole lot of room in here, but that's okay. We'll make it work. Just got to be a little bit forceful. Okay, and then once you get them in, this one needs to go down a little bit. Okay, there we go. All right, so place your center exactly where you want it before you tighten it up. And what I like to do is before I flip it over, snug it and give it a good twist. Just like that, okay? And then come to the back and give it a couple more good turns, right? And then I cut just a little bit of this excess tie wrap off, or chenille stem off. Not all of it. And then I just feed it through the back here. Once again, it's not going to scratch their door. Just like that. Right? So, my daisy wreath is complete. So this is what the back looks like. And this is what the front looks like. All right? Okay. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks for stopping in and saying hi. And make sure you like and share. Subscribe so you can watch me do tutorials every Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. And until then, be safe, everyone. Take care. Bye now.